50 years after the historic Apollo 11 mission, the conspiracy theory that the moon landing was a hoax is not just persisting, it is gaining more traction. These claims first popped up in 1976 with a self-published book called We Never Went to the Moon by Bill Kaysing. Fast forward to 2026, they're still going strong, fueled by social media and a growing distrust in official sources. Let's rewind. The moon landings happened right in the middle of the Cold War, a time of intense secrecy and government propaganda. This environment was the perfect breeding ground for skepticism. So, what are the big claims, and what does the evidence actually show? First, the waving flag. Critics say the American flag seems to flap in the wind, which shouldn't happen in a vacuum. The explanation is simple. The flag was held up by a horizontal rod. When the astronauts twisted the pole into the lunar soil, it caused vibrations. With no air to slow them down, those vibrations just kept going, making it look like the flag was waving. Second, the missing stars. Conspiracy theorists argue that since you can't see any stars in the photos, they must have been taken on a studio set. In reality, the landings happened during the lunar daytime, and the camera's exposure was set for the very bright lunar surface and the white spacesuits. The stars, being dimmer, were just too faint to show up. Then there are the unusual shadows. Some people claim that shadows pointing in different directions prove there were multiple light sources, like studio lights. But the moon's surface is far from flat. Its uneven terrain, full of craters and hills, naturally distorts shadow angles. Plus, light reflecting off the Earth and even the lunar dust itself can act as a faint secondary light source. This complicates the shadows further. Finally, there's the persistent rumor that filmmaker Stanley Kubrick directed the whole thing. The idea is that he used his experience from 2001: A Space Odyssey to fake the footage. But film experts will tell you that the technology in the 1960s couldn't create what we see. Faking high-resolution slow-motion footage that simulates 1/6 gravity would have been an even bigger technological challenge than actually going to the moon. The evidence for the landing isn't just photos. Astronauts brought back over 380 kilograms of moon rocks, which are geologically completely different from anything found on Earth. There are also laser reflectors left on the moon by Apollo missions that observatories still use today to measure the exact distance to the moon. Think about this. Keeping the moon landing a secret would have required the lifelong silence of over 400,000 people. The fact that the Soviet Union, America's biggest rival, tracked the missions and never questioned them is maybe the most powerful proof of all. They had every reason to expose a fake, but they didn't, because it was real. Thanks for watching.